Okay, yay! Well, welcome to Pop Palace. My name
Thank you.
is Jack. I am the host. We celebrate iconic women and queer people in pop music and culture. But we are so excited to have you. One thing we like to do is have our guests introduce themselves and tell us one of your earliest memories you have in music.
Ooh, okay. My name is Jenna Doe, and I am a Canadian pop rock singer-songwriter, and obviously queer. And the first memory I have of music, my mom always told me that I was singing before I could talk, which is pretty funny to hear. It sounds very accurate. I remember my parents getting me this like teddy bear when I was like 3 years old, and you could like press the hand, like the paw, and it would sing I Will from the Beatles.
Mhm.
And I remember always singing along to this bear. I would just like constantly press the hand and like listen to the song and like sing it back, sing it back. And then my mom would like notice me doing that when I was again like 3 or 4 years old. And then they would have like friends over, and my mom would be like, "Look what Jenna can do." And she would like plot me on like the table, and she'd be like, "Press the bear." And I'd have to like sing to all of our guests when I was like a baby. And I remember like really enjoying that from like the second I had like consciousness, like just loving performing and like singing for people.
Wait, that's so cute. I love
I know.
that. It was like from an early age, you were just like set to be a singer.
Yeah, I always say like there's when people ask me like when did you decide to be a musician, there was never a moment I decided. It wasn't a thing that I had to think about and be like, maybe I will pursue music. It was never a question for me. It was just something I always knew, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Did you ever like were you always performing like from a young age, or did you ever go through like a shy period where you were like embarrassed to perform?
No, never. Literally never. I don't think I've ever had a second where I've doubted it or
Yeah,
like thought I wasn't good enough.
I love
Not to
that.
sound conceited, just that I'm like so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And my older sister was into music when I was a little kid, and she was like in high school when I was like in elementary school, and she was a part of this club called the singer songwriter club or something.
Hmm.
And they would put on like little productions just around the area, like at local like venues, like cafes and like restaurants and stuff. And they would just play like little songs on the guitar, all these like high school students. And I remember being in like second or third grade and thinking it was so cool. My older sister was so sweet. She invited me to like come perform with her, even though obviously I wasn't in high school. She would let me like sing with her. And I
Hmm.
remember thinking like, oh my God, so cool. I'm playing for teenagers. And like it was just always something I did. And then of course I grew up in like a small town, so there wasn't like opportunities where if I were to grow up in like a big city, but I would
Hmm.
still look seek out all the opportunities. I performed at every like talent show I could find or like random open mic nights, and like eventually when I became a teenager, I started going into the city, which was Toronto, and playing all like the actual like bar gigs and stuff like
Yeah.
that I could get my hands on. So it was like, yeah, it was pretty much a constant thing since I can remember.
That's awesome. What is
Yeah.
like the music vibe in Toronto or like the town you grew up? Is there like a genre that's like more popular than others?
I don't know. Honestly, I can say that growing up in the town I grew up in is called Oshawa. It's like an hour outside of Toronto, and it's quite
Hmm.
like, I don't know, like everybody here is very realist. Like when I would
Okay.
say I wanted to be like a pop star or like a songwriter when I grew up, everyone would just kind of look at me and be like, "Good luck with that, honey. Why don't you choose
Hmm.
something like realistic?" Like
Right.
they would like if you were to say that if you grew up in New York or LA, they'd be like, "That's so awesome. I love that." Like,
Yeah.
my uncle does that, my friend does that, da da da. But here it's just not really accepted the way it is out there. Like people view that as like something extremely unattainable, which is kind of hilarious because like it's like everybody consumes music.
Right.
Everybody listens to music. There's obviously going to be somebody who makes it for you, you know?
Hmm.
So there wasn't really a music scene out here at all. It was something that I kind of just like had to seek out actively, and it was like, um, I don't know if there was a genre I could like pin it to. I mean, when I was in high school and I played like in a band, we kind of ran in like the rock circles. Like we
Yeah.
played a lot of like Nirvana and like Paramore and like like stuff like that. So I guess that's kind of what the circles I ran in when I was younger. I know that Toronto is well known for their rap scene because of like Drake and like The Weeknd and
Mm-hmm.
that whole vibe. But honestly, I left Toronto, I left Ontario before I could even put my foot in the professional door because I
Okay.
left to go to Berklee College of Music. in Boston, like right after COVID. So then I feel like I didn't really step foot in the professional music world until I even got to America. So I was kind of lucky enough to start my music career within America. Like
Hmm.
my first manager and the producers I worked with lived in New York. So I would just take a bus from Boston to New York on the weekends and do my stuff there. So I don't know if I can tell you really what the music scene is like in Toronto because I'm not fully a part of it.
Yeah. That's so fun though. Like taking
Hmm.
a bus to the big city, like to
Oh
work on
yeah.
music. Would you get like inspiration on your way there? Like, did it feel
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't know, I feel like I would feel like I'm in a movie or like, I don't know, the beginning of like a book or something.
Dude, literally my I felt like my life literally was a movie, especially growing up in like a small town where everyone was like straight and conservative and I really
Yeah.
always felt like a bit of an outsider, of course. And then when I finally decided to like do something bigger with my life, even though basically everyone was telling me that it was not possible, and I moved to America, I moved to Boston, and went to
Hmm.
this good music school,
Yeah.
I literally looked around and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not the only kid who does music." And it's not only is everyone around me doing music, but they're low key like the best of the best like kids doing
Yeah.
music around the whole world. And it was so inspiring for me to be not to not be the only person that I know who actually has this passion for it. Everybody around me had the same fiery passion and the same talent and the same work ethic as me. So it was really great. I found a lot of inspiration in just going up to anybody and being like, "Hey, do you want to jam later? Hey, do you want to
Yeah.
play guitar in this show I'm playing next weekend?" And like anybody you talk to is able to like play at your level. And
Hmm.
so that was really inspirational for me. Like every weekend we would just be playing gigs around like the campus and stuff. And then I honestly still think like my time in Boston was like one of the most inspirational, like enjoyable times of my life.
Yeah, and that's like really wild that you say that of like how you go into your music school and like find inspiration like on the same level as you,
Mm.
because I found you from going to my music school and
Mm.
like looking for other like queer pop girls that I could like talk to and things like that. And
Mm.
I think it was like 2022 and someone was sent me your profile, was like,
Oh
you'll be obsessed. And now here
my
I
God, I love
am.
that.
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to, it's called the Academy of Contemporary Music. It's in
Mm.
Oklahoma City. Oh sorry, that's my cat. Um uh but so like Oklahoma is like really conservative and country music based. So
Right.
I was in there and like everyone was, their attitudes towards women versus men in music was like so nasty.
Oh yeah.
So then I was like, you know what? I'll just talk to the girls and the gays online instead. And here we are.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Wow.
Yeah, like we had a whole conversation about Madonna versus like Mick Jagger, and
Mhm.
everyone was talking about how Madonna's old and like wrinkly and all this stuff, but like Mick Jagger is like totally fine to be like 80 taking his shirt off, and they're like,
It's
yeah,
really,
that's okay.
honestly, it's such a scary industry. The ageism and the sexism within entertainment is frightening. Like
Yeah.
on a daily basis, I have to like actively try to like stop those negative, thoughts of being like, "Oh my God, every year I get older, every year closer to people not liking me anymore as a
Hmm.
female musician." And that's just so like that is just so telling of the patriarchal society we live in as well as the just the industry as well. And I know it's
Yeah.
changing and I'm glad it's changing slowly, but it is quite scary for sure.
So I am obsessed with your latest single, Not Your Boyfriend.
Thank
Can
you.
you give us a little insight on how you write your music and like what like a songwriting process is like for you? Is it like more
Yeah.
linear or is it kind of sporadic and then like you put little pieces together?
Mm. Um, it differentiates for sure. I have like two very different writing processes.
Hmm.
The first one's kind of how I started writing music, which is just like alone in my room with my guitar, and I do it all on my own, and then I bring it to the studio. But the one I've been doing more often recently is I'll go into the studio without a song written, but with like a concept in mind,
Hmm.
and then I'll write it in the studio with the producer there, and sometimes with like a co-writer. Um, and yeah, usually I definitely come in with a concept. Like for Not Your Boyfriend, for example, I went into the studio and I was like, I had a reference track I was really obsessed with. It was like this 2010 like Canadian pop girl. and I was like, oh my god, this song is so like nostalgic and like fun. Like I want to do uh production wise something like this, and then conceptual wise, lyric wise, this is my idea. Like I kept having this experience where even though I'm not like hyper feminine, I
Mm-hmm.
still very much feel like a girl and like feminine inside of my body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why all these girls I keep going on dates with or dating are like expecting me to always be the provider and always be the protector. Like, of course, that's something I don't mind doing once in a while as long as it's like it feels equal and reciprocated. But like all the time, I'm like, girl, I'm the fucking prize too. Like,
Right.
why are you not courting me? Why is
Mm-hmm.
it always me paying, always me driving, always me holding your bags? Like I said, it's like I will do that. Of course, like I want to take care of you, but at the same time, it's like this kind of feels unfair. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to be treated like the man. It's giving me this weird feeling. I don't feel good
Mm-hmm.
about it. And it was just kind of a niche feeling that I never really heard anyone talk about. And then I was telling my friend about it in the session, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is like so good. We need to write a song about it." And then I remember we were like kind of brainstorming ideas, um, and the first title we came up with is "I'm Just a Girl." But then we're like, "Oh no, there's that Gwen Stefani song,
Yeah.
I'm Just a Girl." So we're like,
Girl.
"Okay, let's try something else." And then it's kind of just you throw it back and forth some ideas. You start with a guitar riff or a melody
Mm-hmm.
in the instrumentation, then you just kind of it kind of just feels like you're truly entering like a flow state of being like, oh, whoa, this melody, this lyric, this da da da, and then it kind of just 3 or 4 or 5 hours later, it's suddenly a song.
That sounds fun though. Like, are
It's
you
so
like
fun.
in the moment, like having fun?
Oh yeah, most of the time for sure. There's definitely some like studio sessions you'll go in where you're just like you don't really click with the producer for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the other person in the room just doesn't really truly understand your vision, and it just feels a little bit like it clashes, and then for
Yeah.
a few hours you're trying to like make something work and it just doesn't work, and that happens sometimes, but the majority of the time, especially when I'm working with people that I've worked with before and know that I work well with, it's just fun. Like sometimes it's obviously like it becomes stressful because sometimes I will feel pressure of I'm
Right.
being like, this needs to be a hit, this needs to be whatever. But once you kind of let go of those inhibitions and you're like, this is just fun. Like, let's just have
Mm-hmm.
fun. Let's make a song that we like. Then it's definitely like it can totally be the best time ever.
Yeah. How do you like find a relationship with a producer? Like that feels like it's a lot of trust putting
Mm,
in like having someone come in and help you make your music.
hmm
How do you find somebody that you trust, or is it just kind of like you got to test the waters before and
Yeah,
see how it
you just have
goes?
to test the waters. Like once I left Boston, I went to LA for like 2 months just to test the waters and see how I liked it. I'd never been to LA before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I don't really know what I'm doing. But my manager at the time had like, there's this saying in the music industry that people call it speed dating,
Mm-hmm.
where they just set you up on like 6 sessions a week with new producers every day, and you don't even know these people. And they just text you, they're like, hey, here's the location of the studio. Come here at noon. We'll make something. And you're like, okay, I don't know you, but we're gonna make it work. And then you show up at the studio, you have no idea where you are, you don't even know this person, you just know that there's good recommendations or whatever. And then, oh my gosh, that was the craziest 2 months of my life because I was like really young and I didn't know, I was just a little Canadian girl, didn't know anything about LA, didn't really know anyone there. And every day I was like in a new studio meeting new people, and it was obviously exhilarating because this is my dream, but it was quite exhausting after 2 months of basically no break, just meeting new people every day. I think I remember writing in my diary like it feels like my brain is like a bowl and you scooped out everything in the bowl, and then by the end you're just scraping your cutlery at in the bowl because there's just nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
You've just given every inch of your vulnerability and your deepest secrets and your thought processes to these sessions with basically strangers, to
Yeah.
the point where you don't even have any emotions left because you've said all of them, and it can totally be exhausting. But that's how you sometimes meet the people that you work so well with, is that trial and error. And you could work with 100 producers and you're like, I don't know, but then there's those three that you're like, oh, we are gonna work together forever. I really like this artist.
That's honestly so wild to me. Like you just get a text and they're like, here's the time, and you just go meet a stranger, and you're like, let's see if
Yep.
we vibe.
Yeah. It's just how it goes. I don't know.
Is it ever like awkward where you're just like immediately like, yeah, we're not gonna vibe, or is it usually just
Yeah.
kind of,
There have
yeah,
definitely been like I mean, I've been quite lucky. Like I will say I can only like really think of like one, maybe two sessions where I was like, "Oh, we low-key hate each other. Like we are
yeah,
not getting each other's
you're like,
vibe
this is
at
not the vibe.
all." Like I'll be like, "Okay, this is the vibe I want to do, like kind of like a punk pop vibe." And they're like, I don't think you can sing punk pop. Let's do singer-songwriter." I'm like, "I've
Oh,
never done singer-songwriter. What are you talking
that's
about?" And there'll be like a
crazy.
really awkward back and forth of like visions. But
Yeah.
like I said, that's only been like once or twice and I've been doing this for a few years now, so I've been very lucky.
And I feel like too, I would feel weird if I was an artist, like having someone else tell me what their vision for me is. Does that like feel weird to you? Does it like, I feel like it, in a sense where they're telling you that your vision is wrong for yourself.
I mean, it happens all the time in the music
Yeah.
industry. I don't think people really talk about it or understand it enough unless you're in the industry that like
Hmm.
a lot of it is not like a lot of it is behind the scenes people on your team or people in the industry telling you like this is what's going to sell. This is what who you're going to work with and this is what you should do because this is what's going to make us money. And I'm like
Yeah.
a lot of the time it's especially when you're young and you're independent and you don't know the industry. Like for me, it's happened when I was younger, and I'm just like, okay, like you know more than me. Let's do this then. And then of course won't end up working because it's not my vibe.
Hmm.
But it's something you have to learn. It took me a long time to really learn how to stand up for myself and be like, hey, listen, that's not what I want. Like I
Yeah.
respect you for like giving me your input, but this is my artist project. And this is my vision, and this is what we're gonna do. And you kind of just have to learn to put your foot down, and
Hmm.
especially as a woman, it's hard.
Yeah.
But it is something you're gonna have to learn to do, which is rough. But
But I think too, it comes out in your music. Like the people listening to your music can feel that and hear the authenticity that it's like coming from you and not necessarily like a facade,
mm,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
Like
I love
I feel like
that.
it comes
Thank
through and
you.
you can like totally tell like this is Jenna Doe. It's not
Hmm.
someone pretending to be Jenna.
Dude, that's so beautiful. I'm really glad you said that because that's something I really like, you know, actively am trying to achieve.
No, like 100%. Like like usually I don't talk about like how much I am like obsessed with a person's music that
Hmm.
interview, but like whenever I would go to like a podcast meeting or talking to someone about like maybe getting a sponsor or something, like your
Mm.
music was gonna be my is like my hype music driving there. Like
Hey, I love
yeah.
that.
So
That's so
yeah.
fire.
So going to all these sessions and like being an artist, you're putting out a lot of energy and like personal investment into the world.
Mm.
How do you kind of like, I don't know, regenerate or make sure that you're taking time for yourself?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question because I remember like there was an era where I was like, okay, music is my hobby, music is my job, music is my school. It's just like it's becoming not even enjoyable. Like it's just like it's too much. It's just overwhelming
Hmm.
music. But that again is something I learned from doing this for like 5 or 6 years now. It's like you have to take time to like do things that are enjoyable that's outside of your career. But yeah, it's so easy to just get caught up in just like music career 24/7. And then but what I've learned that really regenerates me is of course like spending time with my family. Like I'm home in Canada right now to like have that moment of being like, feel more grounded, be with my pets, be with my family, my sisters, and then I love reading and I love working out. So I've found that those things really help me. I get stressed and anxious really easily because I have like such high goals for myself, and if I don't do the things I need to do every day, it's so easy for me to get stressed and overwhelmed. So I love um kind of getting my taking my brain elsewhere and like reading a book or going to the gym or spending going out with my friends or something. So those are the things that I enjoy outside of music for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important to make sure that like you take care of yourself because eventually if you just keep letting like giving yourself to everything, then you'll just run out.
So true. Yeah.
Um so you don't hide your queer identity in your music, but does it shape the way, like, when you're writing, do you actively think about it, or is it just kind of because you're queer, your music sounds queer, if that makes sense?
It can be either. I think mostly it's just like I'm just telling the story of my life, and
Yeah.
it just most of the time it's just about queer situations or like girls that I've been involved with. So of course
Mhm.
it's just going to become like a queer song because that's just my story. Other times, once in a while, I'll be like, this isn't represented enough. Like this exact situation or this
Yeah.
story. Let's make this song to have that narrative out there that I never hear.
Mhm.
You know.
Do you ever get, like, people telling you to make things more straight and, like, less queer?
Mm, I've never had that personally. I think that I'm really lucky to have the community of people who enjoy my music be like a very like queer or at least a very like accepting community. So that's always, if anything, I feel like it's been more like encouraged. Like I
Yeah.
think people are realizing it's something we really like need or something that's
Mhm.
like helps build my success. So it's been more so encouraged, thankfully.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So, have you had any, like, memorable fan, interactions or experiences that you like that come to mind?
Yeah, okay. I've had like a couple like really sweet ones, which have been so like unbelievable because I always grew up as such a fangirl. Like I'm
Mhm.
obsessed with musicians, I'm obsessed with music. Like I was always the kid like crying over a new like song by an artist I
Right.
like. So it was really like mind blowing for me when I started having experiences of like going it happens to me a lot at concerts. If I go to a concert of like an artist who's similar to me, like
Mhm.
I've been to like a Girl in Red concert or like a Conan Gray concert and people have like come up to me and like asked for pictures and stuff, which at first I was like,
Cute.
whoa, what? It's so cool. But one that specifically stands out to me the most is I played this show in New York like 3 years ago, and there it was like an all ages show, which is the best because I think I have like a lot of like younger fans too. And
Mhm.
I remember there was this little girl, I think she was like 14, who was like in the very front of the stage and she knew every single lyric. And I was noticing, I was like, oh
Aw.
my God, this girl is so cute. And then there was like one time in the song where there was like a lyric and I like gave her the microphone and she like sang it into the mic and it was really sweet. And then afterwards, when I came out of the green room, she was standing outside with her dad and she was telling me how much she loved my music and how she like chose to sing my song at her in her choir or something like that. And then we got a picture and her dad came up to me like individually and he her dad started crying
Oh my
because he was
god.
like, you don't know how much this means to my daughter, like she loves you so much, like it's so beautiful to see. And I literally almost started crying because like this
That is
like
so
little girl's
sweet.
dad was crying when they met me and I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, like this is really insane to me. Like I don't think that these like kids or these people who appreciate my music even know like how it affects me too, you
Mhm.
know? Like it's
Yeah.
healing my child, like my inner fangirl child.
It makes it all worth it. Like,
A hundred
especially when you're,
percent.
like, fully drained. That's, like,
Oh yeah.
that is, like, such a good story. Oh my god. I love
Yeah,
that.
that was so sweet. I'll always remember that.
Okay, I was on your Instagram the other day and I saw your cover of Crush by Ethel Cain.
Mm.
Do you have any other, like, fave covers you like to perform, or is it just kind of, like,
Yeah.
depending on the day?
Um I do have like I have a couple that I just keep I do over and over just because that's what my band and I know so well. My go-to cover when I play shows is always Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. I've played
Okay.
that song like hundreds of times live. I think I've done like Teenage Dirtbag a few times. I've done like a few like Phoebe Bridgers songs. When I was younger, I used to perform like oh, what's her one song? Kyoto a lot. This was years
Uh-huh.
ago. But I think I even did like a Paramore. There was another Paramore one I did kind of recently. But I would say it's mostly like Avril Lavigne covers that I do live,
Yeah.
just because the crowd loves it and I love it. It's what I grew up on,
Mhm.
you know.
No, it's so fun.
Yeah.
So, I like to ask this question because I feel like it's just, like, fun and kind of random, but if you
Mm.
had, like, unlimited budget to create an unconventional merch item, what
Ooh.
would you create? So, like, someone I asked in the past said she would create a karaoke machine that only plays her music,
Huh.
or, like, a candle that burns the same amount of time as an album,
That's
like,
interesting.
something crazy or weird.
Ooh. That's a really good question. Holy, okay. Because I keep thinking of like clothing items. Like I would love to do like shoes, like
Yeah.
really sick shoes. Or like I love jewelry. Like I would love to do like chunky bracelets or like rings.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That'd be so
oh,
fun.
I would love to do like one of those like flat caps with like my name on it, like a
Yeah.
baseball cap. That'd be sick. I don't know. I
Cute.
love clothes, so I think it would be fun to like have like a whole clothing brand one day. One
Yeah.
day for sure.
I see it happening. Oh my.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I have one last question that we ask everyone on Pop Palace. Going off kind of the royal theme of Palace, you imagine yourself, it's a royal court and you're in the throne, and you have like two to three of your musical idols or influences surrounding you. Who would they
Mhm.
be?
Okay. Wow. It would be Ariana Grande.
Yes.
Um, these are so random. My favorite artists are either like really like alt, like interesting lyrics, or just like pop queens. Like,
Yeah.
um, honestly, I think Ariana Grande, Conan Gray, and Chaperone.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
That's such a good mix.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know our listeners are going to be so excited. Do you have any last things you want to say before we go?
Oh, I want to say, keep listening to Not Your Boyfriend, and the first to hear this, I have a new song called U-Haul coming out on March 13th. So keep listening.
Woohoo! Yay!
Thank you for
Awesome.
having
Well,
me, Jack. This has been so fun.
it was so great to meet you. Thank you so much. And I'll
Thank
email
you.
you about like uploading deets and everything.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Have a
Word.
great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.